Things are heating up in Formula One as the race heads to Austria, and there's no shortage of attention-grabbing developments ahead of this round. After the chaos and drama in Canada, the paddock has quickly shifted focus, with several teams bringing fresh updates and a renewed sense of urgency. One of the biggest topics going into this weekend is Lando Norris's reaction after what many called a major slip-up in the previous race. While he's known for sharp decision-making, this time it didn't quite go his way, and it's raising eyebrows about how it might impact the rest of his season. Meanwhile, Mercedes is stepping into Austria with momentum on their side. Their recent success has sparked a new wave of confidence. For the first time in a while, there's a real belief that they could be pushing closer to the front of the pack. George Russell is right in the mix, just behind Piastri in the points tally with a strong finish in Canada and a car that's finally behaving the way they want it to. Mercedes looks motivated to keep building on what they've started. Behind the scenes, their engineers have been hard at work. More components are being fitted for the Austrian race, and that's a strong sign that the team is starting to get a firm grip on how to improve their current package. The performance jump in Canada wasn't just a one-off, it reflected deeper understanding and better decision-making from the technical side. High-altitude racing and cooler weather could also offer them some added advantages this weekend. Team boss Toto Wolff seems quietly confident that conditions will favor both Russell and Antonelli. Technical deputy Simone Resta confirmed that fresh changes are coming not just for Austria but also for races after that. He made it clear that while Canada's result was great, repeating it won't be simple. What matters now is consistency, something they've been trying to achieve all year. According to Resta, races like Imola and Spain taught them valuable lessons, and they're aiming to apply that knowledge moving forward. Mercedes' performance boost in Canada wasn't just about luck with weather. It was a clear signal that something has clicked back at the factory in Brackley. After months of trying to piece together a working formula under the current regulations, it finally looks like they've figured out how to squeeze more from their machine. That win and double podium weren't just morale boosters. They marked a potential turning point. And now, with back-to-back races in Europe, there's a window for Mercedes to keep the pressure on. Russell may not be the first name that comes to mind in the championship conversation, but his current form is hard to ignore. He's still trailing by 63 points behind Piastri, which is a wide gap, but not one that's completely out of reach, especially when you factor in how things are unfolding within the McLaren camp. That internal rivalry between Norris and Piastri is starting to bubble, and it could easily turn into a situation where the two take points away from each other. Something that would certainly benefit someone like Russell if he stays consistent. While McLaren has been quick all season, they're also showing signs of stress. Ferrari, on the other hand, is still hanging in the race. Despite being criticized for misjudged strategies in Canada and ignoring input from their drivers, they're pushing ahead with their own development plan. Upgrades to the SF25 are in the works, and they're trying to speed up their schedule. Originally, a revamped rear suspension design was meant for Silverstone, but it looks like Austria might see it early. That decision shows just how serious the team is about making up lost ground. At Ferrari, the bigger debate is whether they should keep investing in 2025 or shift attention to the regulation changes coming in 2026. Lewis Hamilton, who's always vocal about long-term planning, has openly urged teams to focus on the future. But Ferrari isn't quite ready to let go of this season yet. Their team principal, Fred Vasseur, mentioned that another set of upgrades is expected just before the UK round, and possibly one more later on, though he emphasized that small gains are harder to come by at this point in the regulation cycle. While Ferrari continues working behind the scenes, the spotlight remains firmly on McLaren, and for good reason. The Canadian Grand Prix didn't just reveal strengths, it highlighted a costly error by Lando Norris. A misjudged attempt in a tight situation proved to be a major setback, and even though he avoided a disastrous outcome, it served as a wake-up call. His teammate Piastri, who finished fourth in Canada and missed out on a podium for the first time in a while, now holds a 22-point lead over him in the standings. That gap might seem manageable, but with the season progressing fast, every point starts to matter more. Despite the incident, McLaren is not pressing the panic button. The team sees it as a learning moment, not a reason to tighten control over the drivers. Team principal Andrea Stella made it clear that both Norris and Piastri would continue to race freely. Their philosophy is simple: let talent speak, instead of manipulating outcomes through team orders. McLaren wants the championship battle to reflect each driver's ability, not pit wall decisions. It's a bold move in a time when many other teams would clamp down after such a scare. Stella also acknowledged that this freedom brings responsibility. Mistakes like the one Norris made cannot happen regularly, especially with so much at stake. But the same caution applies to Piastri. Things could have easily gone the other way. Though praised for his sharp instincts and calculated aggression, he's still young, and the pressure only grows from here. McLaren knows they no longer have the breathing space they once did at the start of the season. Other teams are closing in fast, and the battle is tightening. There's also the matter of Verstappen. With Red Bull hosting their home race in Austria, expectations are rising. Even though Verstappen himself has downplayed his chances, He's still close enough in the points to remain a serious threat, sitting 43 points behind Piastri. The Dutchman is keeping himself in range, and as long as he's part of the picture, no one can afford to relax. His ability to turn a race on its head is unmatched, and Austria could be a crucial step in closing that gap. Red Bull's primary objective heading into their home Grand Prix is clear: give Max Verstappen a car that allows him to fight without compromise. Stability, especially in race conditions, has been a concern lately. The team knows that a few small tweaks in the right areas, particularly the floor design, the wings, and internal parts of the front suspension could make a big difference. However, there's some uncertainty about whether all of these components will be introduced in Austria or held back for Silverstone. Even if only part of the upgrade package arrives this weekend, it might be enough to give Max the edge he needs. To chip away at Piastri's lead, Verstappen's driving has been aggressive this season, and that's been both a strength and a risk. Currently, he has 11 out of 12 penalty points, which puts him just one mistake away from sitting out a race. Austria marks the final event before 2 of those points expire, which would give him a bit of relief. But after the incident in Spain, where he picked up 3 points, the pressure is definitely mounting. If he loses his cool or pushes too hard, the consequences could be more damaging than just lost positions. Red Bull's management is fully aware of what's at stake. A stable car and flawless strategy execution are their top priorities right now. They've also been very careful with their approach to upgrades, making sure that performance gains don't come at the expense of reliability. It's a balancing act, especially when chasing a strong McLaren team that's showing consistent form. Verstappen wants results, but the team is cautious not to rush things that need more testing and refinement. Beyond the title fight, Red Bull is also dealing with internal matters, particularly the future of some key driver seats. One of the biggest question marks is over Yuki Tsunoda. His recent performances haven't been impressive, and the team's patience seems to be running thin. Dr. Helmut Marko, who's never been shy about giving drivers the boot, has publicly stated that expectations are rising, especially for the second car. If Tsunoda doesn't start producing better results soon, there are others in the pipeline ready to take that spot. The situation around Yuki Tsunoda is becoming more delicate with each race. Red Bull sees the second seat as a proving ground for future stars, and right now Tsunoda's form isn't matching the expectations. That's why the name of Isak Hadjar has surfaced in recent discussions. He's been closely monitored by the team and is seen as a possible mid-season replacement if Tsunoda fails to improve, with no plans to send him back to the junior team. After already spending 5 years there, Tsunoda's path in Formula 1 could be coming to a sharp crossroads. Adding more fuel to this conversation is the buzz around another young talent, Arvid Litt. Known for his rapid rise and raw racing instincts, he's already being referred to by some as a future game-changer. Though still early in his development, the idea of Red Bull investing in youth isn't new. The team has always made bold moves when it comes to their driver lineup, and if they see potential, they won't wait for the calendar to turn. The message from Red Bull is loud and clear: perform now, or make way for someone who will. With all of this happening around the paddock, the Austrian Grand Prix is shaping up to be far more than just another race. Key upgrades, heated rivalries, internal team challenges, and career-defining moments are all colliding at one event. Whether it's Verstappen trying to claw his way back into contention, McLaren managing the tension between its drivers, or Ferrari and Mercedes pushing to stay in the fight, everyone has something major at stake. So as the engines roar through the hills of Spielberg, the only certainty is that nothing is guaranteed. Whether it's redemption, dominance, or disruption, the outcome will leave an impact. Now, the question stands: which team will rise, and who will fall under pressure? Drop your thoughts below, and if you followed the story this far, you won't want to miss what comes next on the track.